Oh, hi.
Oh, hello. Oh my god, how did I get here? What happened? What's going on?
What the hell's this?
What is that? It looks like a medieval torture device, I'll be honest with you.
I mean,
I'd say where did it come
like,
from,
it looks
but
like
I know
an
where it
old
came from.
measuring device.
Oh, of course.
Yes, I put my carrot in here. And I see if my carrot is of suitable width.
Girth. Yeah, sorry, yes, my mistake. God. Love a fresh grown carrot measurer. Hi, welcome to RPGClinic.
What the
This is
fuck?
John and Scott. Yeah, you guys know
us. You're
you know
fucked.
how it's gonna go today when it's just us. Yeah, well, weirdness, it's very possible. Chaos and Doom are things we both enjoy.
What?
What?
I enjoy chaos and doom?
Correct. You do now. Yes, and hi guys. Welcome to the stream. As we mentioned in weeks past, I don't remember when exactly, we are sans a couple of people, as you may have noticed. Kate continues to be awesome at work. And Liz is also not here. Not that she's not awesome, but she's not at work, so I couldn't say the same thing. Oh, thanks, Osab. Osab, Weirdness, and Aragwen all resubscribed, because you're awesome folks, too. Thank you.
Trying to get that hype train going.
Yeah, please. I thought my resub was up for, my sub was up for resubbing, but it's not.
I just checked.
Tragic.
Same,
bruh.
Same Z's.
Samesies. But yeah, so it's just us. I was gonna say the boys. It's just us.
Da boy.
The boys, that's right. Okay, anyway.
This is my first time streaming from this side of the table with this microphone set up.
Yes, that's right. Actually, yeah, I mean, you haven't been over here probably since Blades in the Dark, I imagine. It was a long time ago.
We did not have this setup.
No, we did not. Well, welcome to the player side.
We'll just have to have an episode of like MTV's Cribs at some point to show off.
MTV's Twitch stream cribs. I guess Twitch stream cribs. That would be great, actually. I mean, legitimately, we should do a BTS. I mean, I know you live here, so maybe you don't want to, but like...
Would it be like MTV Studs? Like for studios?
Yeah, but you have to spell it STEWDS. Z, sorry. Should be.
It's gotta end it with a Z.
Gotta end it with a Z. Oh, very nice, Eric Gwen.
On the big screen.
You likey on the big screen. So anyway, yeah. So, folks, as mentioned, we are sans a couple of members of RPGClinic today, but we have you, and that's lovely. And of course, we don't want to not be role-playing. So we thought we'd take the opportunity... ABR, always be RPing. ABRP. We thought we'd take the opportunity to do something a little different, which is trying a new one-shot on stream. Now, it's not super different for us in the sense that we've done this before, but today we're going to be playing, as you can see down below me, we're going to be playing Hunter Hunted, or Hunter-Ted, or Hunter-Ed, or something like that, which is a one-shot based game it's a game for 2 players, a hunter, and the quarry they hunt. And as John pointed out, this device is going to be part of the game. So just in case you're wondering what this is, all will be explained.
There's actually 2 different mechanics that you can use with the game. The base uses dice. However, they suggested an alternate, and boy, am I a sucker for an alternate that doesn't involve rolling.
I was going to say, famously, we don't like dice around here, so,
Dice with 6 sides? The fuck
I don't
is
understand. That's not on brand. It's not even in the logo. What do you want us to do?
So... it's not even in the logo.
It's not even in the logo, man.
You're fucking cheap. So we have this, which is a standard hook and ring game, which you can find at your local
Fair.
game store. Your Renaissance fair. I don't know.
I feel like this feels to me like early 20th century American Midwest amusement park.
They exist in pubs where they're like huge, like
big
long
ones.
ropes, and that you have to like swing it across the room and hook it onto a hook.
That's so
like
dangerous.
hanging on the wall.
That's so dangerous. Like in a pub, like I love that though. That's what you get. Yeah. If you're not in mortal danger when you're at the public house, what are you really doing?
I mean,
I kid.
in a public house, they serve you alcohol and darts.
It's actually a good point. Actually, you're right. It's no more dangerous than darts. You're swinging a presumably somewhat heavy object.
It's not that heavy.
No, but like,
doubt.
I'm imagining like those like climbing ropes from gym class. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm imagining something really hefty, or a sailing rope. Anyway, yeah.
I never actually got the opportunity to climb one of those ropes. For whatever reason, we just weren't allowed.
Oh, lame. So what? They just had them, but they're like,
yeah, yeah, basically. Maybe it's because I never got to grade 6 at that school.
Oh, okay. That's the kind of
I've-
sentence you want to finish, rather than pause where you did.
I never graduated elementary school.
John was so good at his job, they plucked him not out of high school, out of elementary.
Yep.
Incredible. They were like,
can you imagine if that's what happened?
Yeah. It's kind of awesome, honestly.
Like, there's... Are you ready to serve your country, son? I'm 8.
Are you ready to serve your country as a son? Oh man, Canada. We have all the best narratives. Yes.
Cesis
Oh shit.
wants you to decrypt some shit.
I was gonna say, CSIS wants you to redacted.
Redacted.
CSIS is Canada's version of the CIA, a national intelligence service. The Canadian... I don't actually know what it is, to be honest. I should know.
Security and Intelligence Service.
Security and intelligence, yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
We don't have cool names like MI5 or MI6.
Lame. I wish there were like numbered departments sound very cool. I mean, James Bond's done a lot to make them sound cool, obviously, but what are you gonna do?
Well, we'll demonstrate our safety cards as well.
Yes, we will, folks. We're gonna be playing a game today, and even though there's only 2 of us, it is still a role-playing game, so we use these safety cards to make sure we can play to our fullest. You don't have cards, but you do have options for your safety. I'll get to those in a second. The green card, also known as the play card, means that I am actively consenting to and having fun with what is happening. We usually flash this just to make sure that people know that things are okay. The yellow card, also known as the pause card, means that I need to make the table aware of something. So I'll hold the card up, say something, let people know, and then put it down and play can continue. The red card, known as the stop card, means that play must stop because I am not okay. There's no blame inherent in this, but it means that we need to discuss. Because we're streaming, we would probably, take some privacy and go to a BRB screen. But once everybody is ready to continue and has communicated, then play can resume. Like I said before, of course, you don't have cards, but you do have options because your safety is important. If you need to, you can message or whisper RPGClinic, that's us, we'll see it, it's on the big screen here. Yeah. If you, I was gonna say if you want to whisper us anyway, but you don't have to do that.
You want to whisper us? We're lonely.
Yeah, we're lonely. Just whisper in my ear.
We're Liz here.
What are we gonna do?
Hashtag.
Jot. Excuse me. The cough kind of ruined it, but that's okay. If you would rather remain anonymous and you need to let us know something, you can also whisper a mod. We have Aragwen in the chat today, she who knows 10,000 things. Aragwen, thank you for being here. And of course, you can always exercise a great option for your own safety, which is to leave the chat and the stream if you are not okay. We don't want to see you go, but we do want to see you be safe and be good to yourself. So do that if you have to.
Kind of always, now and forever.
Now and forever. That's the one. Woo!
All right.
Also, hi, Autumn. Autumn, hi. I saw you sneak in.
I will also say hi to Cartoon Sandwich, someone I know.
More hot tub shenanigans. Osab, how dare you? Also, let's get a camera down there. Come on, quick. Let's do it.
We absolutely can. We could.
This is the usual recording area, Autumn. Normally the curtain's pulled across so that you can't tell there's like a door or whatever there. I don't care. And there's normally 3 of us, and normally John's over there, and normally there isn't a thing here. Oh my god. Hi, Cartoon Sandwich. Thanks for being here. Is it a sandwich of cartoons, or is it like a cartoon-like sandwich? Okay. Oh, a high flower. Yeah. No hot tub shenanigans today. Yet, I should say.
Yeah, like you totally could have had some hot tub shenanigans.
Could still. Not on stream, probably, but like.
We have phones.
You guys have phones, right? Exactly. Aragorn's correct. Everything is as it should be. Super abnormal. Right.
But today, we are playing instead Hunter Hunted. It is a 2-player, GM-less role-playing game, which was written by our friend of the stream, Super Dylan, and Megan Cross. A game that involves either a hook and ring situation, as we see here, or dice. We're going to try the hook and ring. We reserve the right to revert to dice if we suck at this.
If it's boring as hell to watch.
Which is not an impossibility.
No, not at all. Not at all. Excuse me.
It's a 2-player game of pursuit, determination, and what it truly means to be a monster.
Thanks.
So we're going to need a couple of things. We need a deck of cards. We have...
Cool cover there.
We have our decks, however they've been divided. I have the red cards.
And I have
Scott has the black
cards. Yeah.
We're going to shuffle each pile. And we're going to place them just in front of us here.
Cards will be used to answer prompts in the game. All will become clear as we both explain and play. But that's the purpose.
Now, the pile containing the black suits will be placed in front of the player playing the hunter.
And that's me.
And the pile with the red cards will be placed in front of the monster. That's me. Next, you draw 5 circles. Straight in a line on either side of the sheet of paper. We have a digital representation here for you. Once the play space is set up, players can move on to character creation before beginning the game. There's a great section on safety.
We love that in an RPG, regardless of the size of said RPG. Thank you.
We've covered it.
We have.
So to start, we'll determine who's playing which. You are the hunter and I am the monster. Once the characters have been chosen, we're going to take turns answering questions about their individual characters and share those answers with one another. And in addition to the individual character creation questions, players will collaboratively answer the stage setting questions together. This can happen either prior to the individual character creations questions or after, whatever we decide.
Okay.
Do you want to do the stage setting first, or do you just want to go straight on to...
I think it would be valuable to set the stage, at the very least, to know what kind of environment we might be in.
All right.
Right? If you're insistent that we're on the moon, I don't want to play a fish.
Kind of badass.
Kind of badass. Fish hunter on the moon would be pretty sweet. But yeah, so...
Where does the hunt take place?
It's so good. I want to suggest a dark forest. Perhaps the wilds. Well, it doesn't have to be the Canadian North, but I think
Straight up make it the Yukon.
straight up make it the Yukon. I like that actually.
Okay.
There's something particularly terrifying, I think, about the closeness of a forest, how much life it teems with, but how dark it is. You have some experience with this. I have some experience with this.
What time period, real or imagined, does the hunt take place? I'm going to suggest that it's winter.
Yeah, good. Yeah, land of the midnight sun and all that, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we the Yukon is a territory in Canada, which is known for many things, but among them, because it's in the northwestern part of the country, it was the site of a gold rush in the 1890s, if I'm not mistaken.
So the Yukon Gold Rush.
I would say, yeah, I'd say the turn of the 20th century.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will you open the game at the beginning of the hunt, or will you pick up amid an ongoing hunt?
Oh my god, that's a great question. That's going to depend, I think, on the characters. Have they been hunting for a long time or not, right?
I feel like if we're in a forest, it's probably either at this. Well, I guess it's either at the start or in the middle.
Or in the middle, yeah. It's not. Can you imagine? We open the game. I've got you down on the area. Okay.
What are your emotional states at the start of the hunt?
Fear, tension, adrenaline. These are not emotions, but you know.
I think I'm gonna start the hunt at an emotionally exhausted state. But that might change.
Okay.
If I pick up a second wind.
See what the prompts tell you, right? I like that.
What about you both is not what it seems.
Ooh. I'm not sure that I'm fully human.
I'm from the year 3000.
I am a fish. I'm actually a forest fish. What about you is not as it seems. I kind of want to discover that through play. You know what I mean?
I think we'll do that.
Great questions.
Yes, Osab's correct. The Yukon is next door to Alaska. However, it's colder. It's important to, because I actually only just found this out today, although I knew, but I was just reminded again today that Alaska's got a much larger population than the Yukon or First Territories, but they have the benefit of being close to coastal waters. So winter in Alaska for most people is like winter in Ottawa.
Oh well.
It's not nearly as bad as people make it out to be.
Right.
I think is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Alaska is huge. Alaska is by far the largest.
Much like
it's the largest state.
Yeah.
Texas likes to think they are, but they if Alaska got cut in half, Texas would be the third largest state.
Damn. That's wild. I mean, I think it's worth pointing out, much like Canada itself, and also much like a lot of countries that find themselves in this situation, population tends to group along, population centers tend to be along rivers, along bodies of water, and in Canada and Alaska specifically, the further south you are, the less devastating the winters are. It's not to say people don't live inland, obviously, but anyway, tends to cluster there. Hi, Gil. Welcome. We're just setting up our game of Hunter Hunted.
You're the hunter.
I am the hunter.
You are a mighty hunter.
Oh, okay.
Who are you? What do you look like?
Who am I? This is a man with a great big, thick, bushy beard, sort of what might be described as a wild man kind of look. Unkempt, eyes peering out from amidst this face of facial hair. I was a prospector looking for gold, but have found a new purpose in life, and that is to hunt. Let's call me... Maybe you don't need to know my name, but my name is Osiris. Sweet name.
Captain Splooey, I lived in Texas for a little while, and let me tell you, returning to a province over twice the landmass of Texas feels good.
Wow.
We don't have nearly the population, though.
No, but hashtag size matters. I don't know. Okay.
There's a reason you have come to hunt here. What is driving you to pursue your quarry? Were you hired or charged by someone else?
Gold prospector gives up everything they own in search of riches, right? In search of the pursuit of a roll of the dice. They're gamblers at heart. That's why Osiris came to the Yukon in the first place. Why has he then switched tacks to do this instead? It must be because it's important to him. I'm going to say the safety of his community is threatened by the existence of this monster. Perhaps even the people he loves. Let's find out. Let's find out as we continue. Can you say that question again?
Were you hired or charged by someone else?
Yeah, the sheriff, if you will, of the community needed someone to try to hunt the creature on its own turf because it's proven impossible to bring it down in town.
Do you care to declare which city in the Yukon?
You're gonna test my geographical knowledge here. Dawson City? Is that a town in the Yukon? Is it still? It was then.
So Dawson Creek is actually in British Columbia.
Dawson Creek, yes, but
Dawson
City,
is in,
I think, right?
in the Yukon.
Nailed it.
You carry with you a signature weapon.
Oh,
What is it?
Oh yeah.
What about it is more than it seems?
How mysterious. It's a fucking ancient, rusted rifle. Probably from the 1860s. Like, it is ancient. It shouldn't work. And yet, with just a small application of a little pouch of powder that he keeps at his side, it will still aim true, even in the dark. Yeah, how's that sound?
You've heard stories of the monster you hunt. What do you know about your quarry? Do you believe everything you've heard about it?
No. I think Osiris... No, I don't. No. But Osiris is a superstitious man, as living in the close proximity to the wilderness would make most people. He doesn't believe that a creature can do all of the things that this thing is said to be able to do. Fly, be invisible, move at speeds impossible to reach by any living creature, tower over the tallest building in the city. It's impossible that all of these are true. And yet, he has heard stories that this creature has made its home somewhere deep in the forest, but needs to come into town to feed. And he knows that then pursuing it on its turf means that it won't be hungry. That's what he believes.
I'm going to pass this on.
Yeah. Thanks. Let's read some questions. Now, I appreciate some of my questions established, not facts, but things that I believe I know about John's character, the monster. John, you are a monster. Who or what are you? What do you look like? Let's start there.
I'm one of the fair folk. I'm Fae. I, at the moment, look like a wizened, somewhat stooped man with a goat's face and antlers.
Nice. You have made this place, the forest, your home. What brought you to this place? Why did you choose to stay?
It's close to the settlement. If I can get my magics to work correctly, it means that I can walk amongst the populace. There are, naturally, there are people who will be afraid of who I am. Especially because we now have a railroad crosses the country, a railroad built on spikes that I cannot approach. So I've come north to one of the last places where I feel like I can try to stay separate from the community and yet involve myself in it if I have to.
I'll come back to that. Let's see if we answer more questions. You have heard the stories told about you. What do people say about you? How much of these stories are true?
They say that I steal children, infants, in the night and replace them either with caterwauling babes, changelings, or I leave blocks of wood. I've done it once. once was enough. It's a compulsion of mine that I needed to find a way to find a child that I could call my own, to be a mother or a father. I saw the pain that it brought, and I haven't done it since. I'm not going to say that I'd never do it again.
Once, but maybe never again. You've been...
But every babe who has any amount of colic, misbehaves, I'm blamed.
Yeah. You've been hunted before. How long ago? How did you survive? It asks why are you hunted, but I think I know the answer to that question.
1 year ago. 1 year ago, I managed to lure a hunter into a frozen creek. It was easy to hold him down and push him so that he was underneath the icy surface. I watched him. I'd like to say that I took no pleasure in his death, that I was just protecting myself. That he didn't want to just capture me. He didn't want to just kill me. He was enjoying it. So I enjoyed ending it.
Did you survive that hunt by guile? By strength?
I'm not very strong. I can't do nearly half the things that the townsfolk say that I can do. But I do know how to trick someone. I can make them see what they want to see.
For you. We've established some facts, some information about the hunter and the monster. The hunter, Osiris, the monster, one of the fair folk, the location. You've set the scene. You get a sense of the feeling of this place. And I think we're moving on to finding out how we actually are going to play.
This is how it works. At the start of the hunt, both the hunter and the monster begin on even footing, represented by the token in the center of the tracker.
Sorry.
When it's time for the hunt to commence, both players begin either rolling two six-sided dice or trying to hook the ring onto the hook at the bottom. While this is a race, while rolling or playing, lean into the excitement and fear that one player may roll doubles for the other. If players choose to keep role-playing during this, keep it simple. A threatening jab, a beg for your life, or a whispered plea might come out naturally, but don't feel pressured to hold a full in-character conversation during this part. But once someone has rolled doubles, both players stop rolling, and the player who did advances the token one space closer to the opposing player.
Okay.
Unless they've advanced the token off the tracker, ending the hunt, they will draw from their deck of cards and read the prompt associated with the card drawn. We've programmed the prompts in, so you'll be able to see them on the screen in front of you. Using the prompts drawn, describe the current state of the hunt as prompted. Prompts will describe moments happening in the present or ask players to recall memories from hunts past and lives lived before the characters became locked in their hunt. The player who drew the card will respond to the card in whatever way they feel best supports the prompt and the story they want to tell with it, involving the other player if they so choose, either as the character they've been playing or as a new character specifically for that scene. Do not feel limited to describing these scenes via traditional roleplay each time. Consider with each prompt whether it may be appropriate to respond to the prompt with narration, a flashback, a monologue, the description of a still image, or any other descriptive method players may choose. Once the player have determined that the scene is over and it's time to resume the hunt, they begin again. Play continues this way until until the token is moved off the tracker, one way or the other, and that triggers the end game.
Okay.
If we hook at the same time, So I'm going to say that if we both let go and we clink within like half a second of each other,
we'll know.
then the hunter and monster each have had a chance to grab the upper hand and fumble, and we're to stand still. And we'll each answer 2 questions, which will be there.
Fantastic.
As the game progresses, players will take turns losing and gaining ground to one another, moving the token forward only to have it moved back, effectively losing the upper hand. And when this happens, after the player who had their turn answers their card prompt, both players will answer additional questions based on their position on the track. How has the fight progressed? What keeps you from giving up? Or what gives you a moment of pause?
That's the game. Until we reach the final moments, which we'll come back to.
So,
I mean,
we're in the forest.
The odd cry of a bird, the odd, perhaps, howl of a wolf, a hoot of an owl, fresh snow crunching underfoot, right? Or crunching under my feet, anyway. It's dark. I would say there is a moon out, so there's some light, at least for now. And the hunt is on.
I'd say we're probably how far apart?
Have I found you? The hunt is on, but you know.
I think you've probably picked up my tracks.
That makes sense.
Maybe a kilometer away.
Okay.
Is it snowing actively right now?
No, it's just finished. It's that stillness after the snow's fallen.
Wind? Or is it very still?
Very still.
Is the snow deep?
Here in the forest? No. Just a few, maybe just a few inches. Just enough to sort of have your feet sink into it a little bit, and just enough to see the tracks of the monster.
Good luck.
Have fun. Here we go. No! Oh! Was so close.
The hunter and the monster each had the chance to grab the upper hand and fumbled. What caused you to reach a standstill? And what is this moment like for each of you? I think we're separated by the same river. But I'm standing on one side and you're standing on the other.
And Osiris is shocked that his quarry is just standing there. Of course I can't reach you. I could fire, but I would probably miss.
Go home, old man. There's nothing for you here.
I have to keep a promise.
To the ferryman? Who will carry you away? I have no coins to lay on your eyes.
It's always gold, isn't it? No. No, I'm not going home. My home doesn't feel safe. And you know why. I could drive you away, but you would come back, wouldn't you? And his hand is moving towards the rifle, but he knows he can't necessarily get it.
I'm getting ready. I'm either going to run, or I'm going to have to decide to turn on you. But either way, you're armed, I'm not. And you've seen me as I am now. At least I'll be warm. Just for tonight.
There's a look of confusion on his face, visible even across... It's not a very big river, but even at this distance. Are you not normally warm? One would think demon's blood would keep a fire in your veins.
That's enough. I turn to leave.
Cyrus unslings the rifle and brings it up, but you've already moved away. Let's do it. Here we go. Come on.
Hopefully my tracks are being covered, but it's hard. I know that I'm moving too quickly.
And fording the river is done a lot more easily than I thought, as I find a way across. I drew the Queen of Clubs. Feels good. I assume that's the best card.
When setting out for this hunt, you had to leave someone behind who begged to come with you.
Oh no.
Who are they? Do you regret forcing them to stay behind?
Oh no. As Osiris fords across and sees the tracks in the snow laid out before sees the tracks in the snow laid it's true. It's fluid. Sees the tracks laid out before him. The silence that had redescended on the area is broken by the loud cawing of a crow. Its call, just for the briefest of moments, sounds like a man that he knows very well. It sounds like this man is calling him, and it brings him back to not a few hours ago, when standing at the doors of the saloon in Dawson City. Tom was trying one last time to make sure that Osiris had, if not another weapon, if not another hand, then at least someone to lean on in case things go badly.
Why does it have to be tonight?
The moon. It draws its strength from the moon, and as it wanes, its strength begins to decline. Look, I don't expect you to understand, Tom.
It'll be dark. You won't be able to see, and you're going into its home?
It won't be able to see me.
I haven't had time to dig up enough iron for you. And you want to go in there alone? I'm not following you, not if it's tonight. Wait. Give me a week. And we'll take it down together.
What if it came for your granddaughter next? If it came for your granddaughter tomorrow night? You can't wait a week. Tom, this has to be resolved. Now. I'm going. You can't stop me. I have what I need. And he points at his belt, his pouch. One sort of wrought iron nail in it as well, in the belt. And then he points at his head.
It's January. Ground's too frozen to dig your grave.
Just have a nice service for me, if I don't come back.
You're a fool, Osiris.
Maybe so, Tom. But this town needs to be protected. And you're all too yellow to do anything about it. Cyrus regrets calling Tom a coward, but says nothing, and as we drift back to the freshly fallen snow and the tree line rapidly approaching again on the banks of the river, Cyrus hears that crow's call and thinks maybe even... It sounds like Tom's... Is Tom mocking him? You ready? Let's do it. Fuck! Come on! The tree line is approaching. It's... I wasn't there.
King of Diamonds.
Whoa. We assume the prompts... I assume the prompts are crazier the higher you go, but they could just be anything. Stalking and evading the hunter begins to feel like living inside a memory, reliving this moment time and time again. John, how many hunters have come before them? Is there one that you will never forget?
As much as I have killed one hunter here in the Yukon, I know that there have been many who have tried to find me. But since they didn't have their hearts truly in it, I didn't have my heart truly in it to end them. But it was the hunter who chased me out of my homeland. I remember getting on a ship. I stood at the bow of the ship. I had taken the semblance of just a sailor, a standard sailor, looking out across as the rigging was being pulled in, and I could see that she was standing on the dock. She had a wrapped bundle in her hands. I assumed it was a weapon, but I'm not certain. Maybe it was enough that I was leaving. Or maybe she just didn't feel like she had the courage to go on the ship. Or maybe she thought that crying out to everyone on the ship that I wasn't who I looked like would have just made her seem mad. I never found out her name. But we had a conversation in the moments before we slipped the moorings. It's one I haven't forgotten.
There's an alleyway near the docks, and feeling that you've been pursued, I imagine perhaps you've made your way through that alley. Another set of footsteps echoing off the cobblestones, but no one else around. And she emerges in front of you, dark hair flowing behind her, eyes alight with, I don't know, victory maybe? And she smiles. Where are you going?
Won't be darkening your doorstep no more.
I think it's too late for that.
Don't, you've won already. There's no need. I'm off.
How can you say I won when you're still standing there? Alive as the day that you took my son.
Is it a life you need in return? Not today. You step forward and you might be the one finding yourself with the blood staining the ground.
Very deliberately, she opens her coat, and you can see an iron dagger. And under her arm, as you say, a wrapped bundle as well.
You don't know how to do that. You don't have it in you to kill.
Give me one good reason why I shouldn't try.
Because you can walk away. That's the only guarantee you'll get from me.
Just tell me one thing. If you hadn't come, would Sean still be here?
I told you. Don't know your son. Never did. Never cared to. And if he's gone, it's likely your fault, not mine.
Her fists clench, but she doesn't step forward.
You're already blaming me. Let your problems go with me then. Take 3 steps back. And another.
She's watching, but she's not moving. You can kind of see, as you, presumably, are watching her for signs of motion. She turns her head, but you can catch the tears starting to fall down her face.
Turn and leave.
You can hear "go" whispered, and you can hear something that sounds like maybe Sean. But there's no clicks on the cobblestone, just the sounds of the docks up ahead, the water, sailors calling to each other, the sound of freedom, maybe?
Hell of it is. I don't think she knows that I was telling the truth.
Let's do it. Got it in one, baby. Look at you next time, Gadget.
5 of diamonds.
From a hidden spot, you observe the hunter undetected. As you watch them move about this place, you learn things from watching. What do you learn? Will you do anything with this information?
I managed to cross a clearing. I'm up a tree. There's enough white in my goat's beard that I can blend a little bit in with the snow, and I'm able to stay for a second, and I can see as you see the tracks. Unfortunately, the wind isn't blowing them away. You're favoring your right leg. Don't know whether it's an old injury or a new one. But I can also tell that your boots are new. They're brand new. Maybe it's new enough that the leather hasn't broken in yet and it's hurting your feet. Why do you have new boots? Nobody here has made enough gold that they can just casually buy new boots.
Cyrus is following the tracks, but he looks far away, like he's thinking of something or someone else. The tracks lead to the base of some trees, and he continues to hunt for where they might have gone through deeper into the forest. And then, with a sigh, because nobody is watching, he crouches down in the snow, and indeed he tugs at the heels of his boots. They're new. They're tight. He curses under his breath, takes a little ration packet of some kind out of his pocket. You can hear him chewing, bits of crumbs falling out into the snow, as he looks up, not at you, but up towards the sky, towards the moon. He's thinking, but unless I'm mistaken, you can't read minds.
No, I can't.
Oh god. Ready? That one was okay. He's back up. He's resuming the hunt.
Queen of Diamonds.
You know how easily you could end all of this. Like, ending the hunter and their hunt. Something stops you from ending it. Why do you let the hunt continue?
I dropped down from the tree, landing directly under your shoulders. My hooves, solid and digging, the chitinous mass just driving your shoulders into the snow. For a moment, I have the upper hand.
He doesn't even have time to cry out.
I warned you. Is it that you want to die? Tell me. Because I didn't wrong you. I never wronged you.
How do you know? The devil lives 1,000 lifetimes. How would you know if you hadn't wronged me?
You don't think I keep track? You don't think that I know everything I've done?
The burden of memory. I imagine it gets heavier the more you have. The longer you live. Let me relieve it for you.
I could kill you now.
What's one more crime? One more death? One more murder?
Do you have children, old man?
He doesn't nod, but you can see in his eyes the answer is yes.
You old enough to have grandchildren, old man?
I'm old enough, but I don't know. I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna find them, and I'm gonna find out. Don't laugh.
You don't even know.
How could I? How could I know? I had to come here, don't you see? I had to... And he realizes he's talking to a fucking monster and tries to roll away and can't really muster it. I have to atone. You. Saving this place from you will save me.
It's a weak man who finds his salvation in another. You have to find one for yourself before you can return to your family, who won't even face you. I'm not the source of your problems.
You can tell that he understands, but he just stares back.
So we have to answer these questions together.
Okay.
How has the fight progressed?
In this moment, or so far, right?
So far.
So far, I feel like having it progressed so quickly. Osiris is able to track you so easily. almost as if you wanted to be found, but that's not true.
It's unsatisfying.
Yeah.
You haven't given me enough to worry about or fear. Maybe you're just a fame hound, hoping to make his mark? You're not even worthy of chasing after me. What keeps you from giving up?
If I return empty-handed, I'll have nothing. Less than nothing because of what I owe to the world. So I can't. That would...
You ask me.
Yeah, oh, right, because that's per you, I see. What gives you a moment of pause right now?
I don't know if you deserve to die. Because I don't think I'm getting out of these woods with you alive. You have a weapon. And I can feel the chill of iron on you. And yet, I don't know if it's time for you yet.
This one's for all the beans, as it were. You get this in one. I drew the 8 of clubs.
You've heard whispered stories about this monster before the hunt ever began. What now in your ongoing battle with the monster do you know for a fact to be untrue?
Osiris spits in your face. I don't need to be pitied by you. Do you know what they say about you? That you tower over the mountains. That you move like lightning, like a rushing river. That you're invisible. You're nothing. You're just a misshapen man. A mistake. You're a mistake, and you will be corrected. And he, with speed that is surprising even to him, goes for the nail at his side. It's a large iron spike about I don't know, 6-8 inches long.
Jump back. I could have just killed you, but the sight of the weapon is enough to cause that primal fear. Scuttle back. You know that I didn't do everything they say they do.
You did something though, didn't you?
Nothing against you.
I'm not just me. I'm the whole town. I'm the whole world of humanity that stands against your kind.
No. Today you're alone in a forest with me. And that's all you are.
I don't need anyone else. It can be just me. I can do this. Now, if you close your eyes and stay very still, you won't feel a thing.
I bolt.
A good choice. I'm close. Oh!
I don't think that counts.
Okay, but it was all in the same swing.
Yeah. What do you think? I'll grant it to you. You can either say that it counts for you or that it technically was both of our swings.
I'm gonna take it. The 5 of spades.
The monster has pushed you to the absolute brink and you consider abandoning your hunt. But as you do, you hear someone in your mind urging you on. Who is it? What words echo in your thoughts?
The town of Dawson City is still a thriving one, but most of the people there are old prospectors, bartenders, saloon pianists. Sorry, shopkeepers, not
Saloon.
There are so many saloon pianists. They have a
like
whole guild.
8.
Yeah, there's like a whole guild of them. But there are very few people in Dawson City that Osiris loves or even sort of thinks about. The face that the monster makes as it bolts, it gives him pause. How is he ever going to catch it? And it also reminds him of his son. Back home, his son was always urging him to do what needed to be done, to support the family, to support him, to find ways of being braver and stronger.
How old's your son?
When I left him, he was 19. Well, no, hang on, that doesn't mean... No, I'm older than that.
You can be old.
I can be whatever.
It's back in the Yukon. For all you know, you took your bride when you were like 45.
That's actually a really good point. Let's say... Yeah, no, I'll leave it. 19.
Mom's asking us when I'm going to be able to make it out on my own.
You're not ready.
What do you mean? I'm a man now.
Being a man isn't just an age. It's not just a look. It's something you earn. And you haven't earned it.
Who says? You?
Yeah, I say.
You haven't even found enough to make sure that we're going to stay safe and whole.
But I will.
Mom's waiting. She's been waiting a long time.
I know that. She'll have to wait a little longer.
I know you'll make it. I know you'll find what you're looking for. Are you gonna come back? When you find it. Are you gonna come back or you...
Why wouldn't I come back? I love your mother. I love you. He's not looking at his son. Why wouldn't I come back?
You've always been telling me that there's a big wide world out there. Who's to say you don't get your riches and then decide you want to go out and see it?
You're gonna take care of her, aren't you?
Dad. I know you'll find what you're looking for. You've got to come home.
As soon as I find what I need.
Because if I ain't a man yet, you got to come home and take care of her.
Damn it. Yeah. You understand why I have to do this, though, don't you? It's not goodbye forever. It's just for now.
Don't think it matters much.
It's my choice, that's right. It's my life. Let's party. Like how it doesn't actually get easier.
Well, we're also playing side by side.
That's I see what you mean. Ooh, ooh. Osiris. The 4 of spades.
Searching the area, you find the monster's den. What are you shocked to find there?
Even with the moon, the darkness here is even more oppressive and gloomier as we move further into the forest. A small cave hidden in a copse of trees. This must be where the monster lives, where it keeps the children that it eats, or whatever. But Osiris is surprised to find no bones. No bones there. He is surprised to find an old woolen scarf. Just a simple hand-knit blue thing. But there's so little here. It smells of the monster. It must be where the monster lives, but why keep this? It has no need of it. And he goes to pick it up.
Hey!
Fucking whirls around and has a heart attack. Holy shit.
Don't you dare. Standing at the mouth of the cave. Barely any silhouette. There isn't a whole lot of light out here, but it is freshly fallen snow, and it's enough to provide just like a slight backlight. That ain't yours.
I don't think it's yours either.
It's well enough mine. You step away from that.
I don't think I will.
I'll kill you.
Haven't yet. Maybe you should try. Taste your own mortality. Where'd you get this?
You don't deserve to know.
Who'd you kill?
You are chasing me. You leave that alone. Now you come after me. You take that thing out. You point it at me. You stay away from that. You leave it alone.
Seem to care an awful lot about a piece of wool.
Just don't. Just don't.
Osiris lets it fall so that he can reach for his rifle.
How has the fight progressed?
I've found your home, your lair. You can no longer return here.
I feel vulnerable for the first time.
What keeps you from giving up?
If I don't get that scarf back, if I'm not holding it when I die, I'll never forgive myself. What gives you a moment of pause?
This thing, this devil, this threat, begged not for his life, didn't beg for mercy, didn't even really beg for clemency, but he begged for this simple scarf. Something a child might do. All right, here we go. Oh. You got me.
4 of Hearts.
The hunter has made it clear what they think of you. What do they take as fact that you know to be fiction? What do they say that you're shocked to learn they know?
I think you know that I've killed. And I think that you know that I have stolen one child from Dawson City. I don't think you know when I did it. I think you think it might have been more recent. Within the past year. The Jenkins child drowned, and they blamed that on me. The McGillivray daughter suddenly just developed the nastiest temper, and they assumed it was my doing, but I've never even been in the same building as her. No. The child I took was a long time ago. A long time ago. Put that away. Kick it behind you. I'm giving you this chance. You can keep your rifle. Kick the scarf behind you.
Slowly, Osiris moves so that the scarf is behind him. He hasn't moved to kick it, as you commanded. All this for a scarf.
You don't know nothing.
I don't know. Do I? Huh. You don't think I know what you are? What you can do? What you're capable of?
You don't know my crimes.
I know that people have been quick to blame life on you. Some of the things in town, sure, could have been you. I don't think so. I know you've taken. Tell me about him.
When you became a father, was it because you couldn't keep your pecker in your pants? Or was it because you wanted to know what it was like to hold a child and have it be your own?
My son is my greatest legacy.
Legacy. Because you only have had, what, 60 years? For your toes up. I don't need a legacy. But I wanted to know what it was like to love. Y'all keep caterwauling about it. But I don't know. I wanted to know. You touch that scarf again, I swear, I will kill you. I will eat every last bone in your body. I will wear your skin if I have to.
Only thing more human than loving someone is having to lose them.
You son of a bitch. Don't you dare compare me to someone like you. Humanity's a stain.
If you really think so. What did love feel like? Better than whatever this is.
Like I've been waiting for every one of your lifetimes. For something. And I finally got it.
The rifle hasn't come down. It's the two of clubs.
In a moment of rest, your mind drifts away from your quarry and begins to daydream of what comes after. What are your plans for when the hunt is over? Do you fear they'll never happen?
I'm gonna alter this prompt slightly just because I don't want to take us out of the moment that we are in right now. But this is, thank you, this is the past. This is the not so distant past. Having set out from Dawson City, there's a climb up into the forest. And Cyrus's goddamn boots are too tight. He didn't break them in. But he knows the value of something waterproof when it's this cold. So he sits down on a big rock looking out over the town. Tugs on his boots. And there's a few lights from the city and then in the sky. The northern lights start to dance across the sky. And it's hard for Osiris to not think about what will happen once he returns victorious with the body, the head of this creature. So he can prove that he's done what he needs to do. can go home. I don't have to go home a rich man. I just have to go home whole. Knowing that I atoned for what I did so that I can look my family in the eyes and they'll know that I'm a man. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm able to provide for them. And this monster, whatever crimes it committed, it'll be no more. I'll be able to bring peace to this place. Beauty, maybe. I'm no artist, but I can do something good in this world. I can right a wrong. Even if I can't right the wrong that I did. But being able to come home and see them maybe a bit taller, maybe a bit broader, who knows? It'll bring me a sense of satisfaction and a sense of balance. It'll give me what I need. And these thoughts come rushing back to Osiris as he can almost like sight the monster's eye down the barrel. It's lined up and he's ready to pull the trigger. Let's do it. Come on. You got it, ladies and gentlemen.
3 of diamonds.
This place is your home. You know every inch of this place, better than the hunter ever could. How do you use your knowledge of the landscape to your advantage over me?
As you draw the rifle, I know that there are only a limited amount of magics that I can command here in this new world. But the one thing that I can do is I can collapse the entrance to the cave, trapping you inside. Whether or not I'm inside the cave when the rocks fall, that's an interesting question that I think will be determined by the next step.
I think so too. You want to go forward right away? Or do you want to... Is there some magic to just... No, let's just do it. Let's do it. Whoa! Too far. It's close, John.
The power of Fey magic! Oh!
Come on! I watched that happen. No, they don't want you to have it. They want me to have it. I feel like this is...
They should put a poll up to see who they want to win.
Exactly. Aragorn, I feel like this is the struggle. This is the final struggle. Well, not the final struggle, but I'll draw my prompt and we'll see what that means for your magic. It's the Jack of Clubs. Damn it, Splooey.
Carefully watching the monster, you've noticed a weakness it has when it might not even be aware of. What is it? And how will you use that weakness against it?
He knows the weakness, the fear at least of the iron.
Maybe in my haste I activated it too early. I've trapped myself in with you.
Mm-hmm. I would, the weakness being the scarf. As I sight you down the barrel of the rifle, I also just move as if I'm going to grab it, and perhaps you exactly, yeah. And the rocks collapse behind you, trapping you inside this very dark cave. Well, as long as we're both in here. Come on. Come on! No! No!
Oh! Fuck. Is this...
It works. But, oh yeah, I think maybe you want.
I mean, I'm still counting that as yours, but...
Okay, well, thank you. Kerblamo, baby. Well, let's see, I guess. It is the 10 of spades. I really love a prompt from a deck of cards.
The monster retaliates against you, using the full force of their powers against you. How did you underestimate this power, and how has it changed the stakes of this hunt? And I know what I'm going to do. The voice changes. Here in the dark, you can still see down the rifle. But the only real magic that I have is the ability to change my appearance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You had twins. You lost one. I made that scar for him, to wrap him up. Never had the chance to use it. Can you do it? Can you kill your own wife?
The rifle trembles, and the barrel begins to fall down towards the ground. How did you know?
I was there.
No.
Come on, Osiris.
No.
Just find the gold for us, so that we can be happy.
Damn it. Damn it, Mary. You know I had to do this. It's not supposed to be like this.
Our son will be so proud of you.
This isn't real. This ain't real. It's not real.
What is real, Osiris? You had a chance to be happy, same as me. Go on. Shoot me. You got me dead to rights.
There's... maybe it's even hard to see, but there's a very audible click. I'll do it.
Make him proud.
No, I don't want to do it. Let's do it. Come on.
Fuck.
No, fuck. All right. What happens now Oh, Siren. Very good.
When the token is moved off the tracker, either the hunter or the monster has caught their adversary and now has the power to end the hunt and possibly their adversary's life. To determine how the story ends, the player who ends the game with the upper hand gains narrative control, effectively the sole storyteller of the final scene. The other player is encouraged to roleplay, ask questions to further the narrative, and offer input on this last scene, but the final outcome is left in the hands of the winning player. Will your character kill their opponent, find common ground, or flee? Let the narrative journey that led them here inform this decision.
Trapped. Dark. Cold. Alone. Save for the face and voice of his wife, Mary. Osiris struggles to breathe the dank air down here. But whether or not he can get away doesn't matter. Neither can the creature. It's given up, hasn't it? It gave up trying to leave.
Is the creature who they claim to be? Or have they been tricking you this whole time?
Better safe than sorry, as they always say. But Osiris begins to cry as he imagines or remembers how he left his wife and how he left his son. And
You chicken shit. Do it.
killing you won't bring him back. I know that.
Ain't that a shame?
But I bet it'll feel so good.
Why don't we find out?
The flash of light from the barrel of the rifle is blinding, followed by a deafening report just reverberating off the cave walls like a cannon. But Osiris had aimed true, struck the creature, and he approaches it with the iron stake, or not nail. Yeah, stake, let's say.
Has the creature reverted back to its original form? Is the creature been lying all this time? Or has the creature just kept the form that it knew? Is the creature your wife? Or merely adopted her face?
I'm good. It's no longer Osiris's wife, but it's no longer the goat-like creature either. It's smaller, a little less bestial. There's something inhuman about it, but there's something very vulnerable about it as it lies there shrunken.
His name was Christopher Collins. Two weeks old. I took him. I saw him, and I thought I could love him. Teach him what he needed to know. Your lifetime is so short. What's one of them to satisfy my curiosity?
Cyrus tries to crouch and ends up essentially collapsing next to this creature, over the creature. Like I said, loving is human, but even more human is loss. Where is he now?
I held him, fed him, taught him. Felt like holding a particularly gnarled piece of wood. Interesting. But after so long, it's just boring. He's somewhere east. Left him with a young couple unable to conceive themselves. Didn't return him back to his birth parents. They didn't deserve him.
Who are you to decide who deserves something? You take and you take and you take.
Have to. No one else would.
Don't have to do nothing anymore.
Will you give me my scarf? Before you do it. Give me one last thing. Before I find out what happens next.
The monster can feel the scratchy warmth of the scarf as it's pressed into his chest. And Osiris raises the iron stake.
Feels warm.
Go in peace. And he brings it down. The hunt is over. Cyrus will have to find a way to claw his way out of this collapsed cave. But when he does, he'll be greeted by the northern lights once again in the sky over the forest. Oh! He forgot to always double tap. And that, I think, is where I would like to leave my story. Our story. Oh, yeah, go, get it. Oh, shit. fuck.
Shit. Oh, fuck. Damn it.
It's I'm not sure if people. I'm curious what people's thoughts are on this hook and ring game specifically, because this is a lot more fun than I was anticipating. Quite tense.
Fuck. Come on.
As John, I'm just gonna keep. Okay.
Oh, I can't even.
Oh,
it's
you
needs a little.
It was too much, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. As John mentioned, the OG rules call for both players to roll 2d6s, and the first to roll doubles, wins that round. I really prefer this, not just because it's a cool visual, but also I just feel like rolling dice as fast as possible. It would be like more of a rush, but I just feel like it's really fumbly and fiddly, and this is a lot more, I don't know, dramatic, I guess.
I would agree.
True, Sam. Yeah, we'd have the dice cam and we'd be rolling into the same pot and being like, "Don't," and I'd be like smacking your hand, trying to get you. Oh, what the hell?
Yeah, that's how you actually do it. Is like we end up tackling each other and wrestling off camera.
Oh, no.
The dice are just laying there waiting for them to be doubles, and then you just start hearing like grunts and efforts, and
there's a little camera. Yeah, there's a little curtain that wafts across the dice cam. Yeah. That was actually really tense right at the end of the track. I agree.
Yeah.
Good shout with the music. John, congrats. Good game. GG.
GG.
How do you feel?
Oh, I just remember it being like this.
Oh, that one. Yeah, the one that
just
was right there.
But that's the end. Like,
no,
and it's weird because I know that there's a certain amount of skill,
sure,
involved in this. Like, totally get it. But there's also, I think there's a certain amount of like I should have been strong enough to survive.
Right.
And I didn't.
No, but we've talked about on RPGClinic and like on clinic hours, but also on stream for various games. We talk a lot about like when is it useful to let chance or mechanics dictate story over actual narrative control, because we play games that aren't ruleless, because if we did we could just tell a story like that's fine. I think it's cool. I like improv. But yeah, from time to time this has to dictate the story too, right? Because then you find out what happens.
Do you think it'll dictate another?
That's a good question. I don't know if I would play another whole game of Hunter Hunted right now, given how... I mean, that was a very intense experience. TB perfectly H. Do you want to try...
TB perfectly H.
Do you want to try this, though?
Sure.
On stream?
Sure, we could try that.
We need to address the elephant in the room. Captain Splue and Aragorn are very angry.
Because we didn't make out.
Yeah. And I want to address the elephant in the room, which is that you need to wait until the marathon, okay? Thank you very much.
If we make one of the marathon goals to be that we'll actually make out, like, does that make us... What does it make us?
I mean, it doesn't feel ethical.
Does it?
It doesn't feel right, man.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't want to be like, yeah, I'll give you what you want. Ooh, pay me. Like, I don't want to...
That's literally all jobs. All jobs are, I'll give you what you want, pay me.
I guess it's the coquettishness of being like, wink. I don't know. Okay, sure. Yeah, Aragorn puts it a lot more bluntly, I guess. half. Fucking 9 to 5. Hooks. My God. Okay. I mean, we go through a lot of prompts too, John?
We did.
I'm realizing. It was good. Hey.
I mean,
thoughts, feelings?
This game could fly by.
Yes.
In like,
my goodness,
you could finish this game in 15 minutes if things fell the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, and if you get a prompt that's just like, the monster's weakness, and I just go, its weakness is silver, and then we do it again. You know what I mean? Like, the prompts could be short as well, right?
Is kissing against the terms of service?
I don't think so. Oh, actually, well, here's the real question: when is a kiss pornographic, and when is it like,
Kissing me. It's always pornographic.
You heard it here first, folks. Back to you in the studio, Trisha. Jesus Christ. Always. Always.
Every time.
You kiss your mother with that mouth? No, wait, no. Okay.
Not like this.
Not like this, I don't. Well, you said always. Okay. Gross.
But we do
Yay.
have another game that we can play.
If people want to see it. May I take just a very short washroom break?
Go ahead. I'll explain.
Because
the
you
game.
will talk a little bit about this, as I will. Yes. Okay.
You couldn't even pass it over. I had to reach across the table. This is a game called Inhuman Conditions. It is a board game, kind of, but it is also a role-playing exercise, kind of, and it is played in short increments. It's a game that I first found out from a review that was on the YouTube channel Shut Up and Sit Down. This is the second printing. So the first printing, the box was much more elaborate, but this time around, it's still a wonderful presentation, just not as wonderful, I suppose is the way that I'll put it. It was a much bigger box, and the box unfolds so that its play surface is actually the inner lid of the box, so it unfolds out, it's magnetically closed. This one doesn't have that, unfortunately, but it is no less awesome. From the inside, what looks like just many sheets of paper, but really the fun part about this game. A reference pair for the box. Flower of August, I wish I had a pair on me because I do love me a pair. Is this. This is the form VK-828. This is a game about discovering whether somebody is human or a robot through an interview. Inhuman Conditions is a 5-minute interrogation game for 2 players. One investigator will interview one suspect in order to determine whether that suspect is a human, as they claim, or a robot in hiding. To accomplish this, players engage in a 5-minute interview focused on a chosen topic. Patient robots will have difficulty answering questions on the chosen topic, and thus will be evasive. Violent robots will be overly talkative, attempting to fulfill internal conversational goals so they can deprogram themselves and kill the investigator. Humans will behave normally, whatever that means. If the investigator mistakes a human for a robot, both players lose. If a robot successfully fools the investigator, the robot wins and the investigator loses. If the investigator is able to correctly identify a suspect, the investigator wins. Humans just want to have their humanity certified so they can go home.
Man, I just want to go home. Don't we all?
So, in this box, this pretty sweet box,
Yeah.
we've got these cards, which are
Those are the roles?
these are backgrounds
Backgrounds.
for the suspect. We have penalties. These are the penalties that the robot must do if they are caught going against their programming. As an example, it could be apologize or swear. One of those. The forms come with 2 stamps. One of the stamps says robot on it. One of them says human. Those stamps accompany this form, which must be filled out each time. That's part of the game.
I would argue, in fact, perhaps most of the game is the joy of filling out a bureaucratic form to determine if someone's human or not.
One of us is going to be handed cards that are called inducers. These cards indicate whether or not we are a patient robot, a violent robot, or
Hopefully it's
a
something there.
human.
A human.
If it's a human, there's a little maze that you have to solve in order to be able to say, because one of the first parts of the interview is going to ask what letter comes after what letter. And the human has to figure it out by looking through the maze. Robots don't have the maze. They just have at the top all the letters in order. But instead, that's so that they have the chance to read what's underneath. For a patient robot, it's their restriction. So for example, you may not express opinions, you may only state observable facts, is this robot's particular restriction.
Disgusting. What a disgusting
If that
restriction.
robot breaks that restriction, they must perform the penalty and try to sneak it past the investigator so that they don't notice and immediately tag them as a robot. A violent robot doesn't have restrictions. Instead, they have drives. There are 3. They have to complete 2 of them. For instance, this one has the drives: mention an animal in response to 3 different questions, make an animal noise, or perform the penalty twice. So, if you manage to complete 2 of these, after 10 seconds, you slam your hand on the table, and that indicates that the investigator is dead.
Yeah, that you've beaten your restrictions or whatever to kill the investigator.
Meanwhile, the investigator has... Let's just get these out. They're on the side.
Oh, good.
The investigator has questions that they can ask that are intended to try and trip up the robot but reveal humans. So, for instance, I can say that I want the suspect to share a short-term plan or goal, like what are you doing this weekend? Or how will tomorrow be different from today? You don't have to use these questions, but they're designed to go with the robot's drives or restrictions in order to create some interesting counterplay. So you don't have to, but they're there.
Right.
In case you need it.
As you can kind of imagine already, if your restriction is to never mention an opinion, it might be very difficult to share a short-term plan without having any opinions on it. It also might be quite challenging for a violent robot to, mention animals in response to that. But that's,
So then,
that's the game.
my question to you out there, chat, who are still with us, do you want to see Scott be the interviewer, or is Scott the suspect?
Ooh. I really like the sort of aesthetic of this game as well, because it's that bureaucratic punch card kind of retro futurism. Well, there you go. The people have spoken.
Well, 2 people have spoken.
The people have spoken. It's an observable fact. Oh god, let's see how it goes, guys. Oh, I'm scared. Sus.
Should be.
Oh, the poll is up. Okay, guys, vote in the poll. Thanks, Aragwin.
All right. We'll make it a poll.
Sus. Hi, Kung Fu Fenris. Short answer, we just played a wonderful round of friend of the stream, Super Dylan, and Megan Cross's game, Hunter Hunted. It was awesome. And now, it was pretty fucking sweet. Actually, I'm really pleased, and I'm gonna message Super Dylan later. But we are now playing a board game? I guess you could call it a board game. Called Inhuman Conditions, which we're just about to start. It would appear. Do we want Jev's robotness revealed to the world? It's a good question, Flower.
Okay, so I'm gonna hand you that and this. We'll swap them if they vote alternatively.
Those are
the
inducers.
inducers.
Yeah, okay, great. Guys, I'm scared.
Here are the inducers for... So what's that inducer? What does it say on the front there?
It says creative problem solving.
What does this one say?
This one says imagination.
All right. We'll see what the result of the poll is. And by we'll see, I mean Erwin will tell us. Because we can't actually see.
Yeah, sorry, Eric, we can't see the poll. Could you let us know the result, please? Thank you. Is this to be able to do two rounds?
Yep.
Great.
And then here's the third.
Whoa. Almost done. Yeah. Oh, thank you. And this one says body integration. This is spooky. What does it mean?
That's pretty spooky.
Unless we get a violent swing of voters, Scott is Sussy Baka.
Sussy Baka.
How did you know my middle name, Aragorn? I never share that on stream.
Scott.
Yes?
Sussy Baka.
Sussy Baka. Humphrey-Laugus.
So one thing that we are going to do, just to make things a little interesting, is I think I might show the form on camera.
Oh, good idea.
So I'm gonna make some space for us here.
Please do. I'm going to answer Flower's question in the meantime. Does the interviewer get to end the interview at any point, or do you have to play out 5 minutes? If you want to stamp, if you believe you can stamp robot, you're allowed to do so at any point. If you want to stamp human, you must wait the 5 minutes. I mean, you must finish the interview in 5 minutes, at which point you will ask one final question. The point of the final question, John, just as a reminder for me specifically, it's one final chance for the robots to accomplish their goals.
Yes.
And if you can't, if the robot can't, then they must physically demonstrate.
They short out.
They short out, yeah. Okay. So anyway, I hope that answers your question, Flower.
So.
Sussy Baka.
Let's see if this will work. This might work, this might not. We'll find out in a second.
Oh.
I'm gonna flip the camera. Oh, it's locked, so I have to unlock it.
Oh, yeah, that would do it.
So I'm gonna flip the camera so that you'll be able to see it right way up.
Ooh.
And we'll flip it horizontally as well so that you can...
Yeah. Nice. Guys, I'm legitimately quite intimidated by this. I think maybe that's part of the point. It's an interview. Be intimidated during interviews.
So that's what it looks like right now. That's the form. You can see that it's form VK
Whoa.
828. We'll leave this here. Very well.
Okay.
And then there's a little app.
Hey.
Normally I'd put the timer on the screen, but instead I'll put the timer on the camera.
Lovely.
Here, we should probably make it more like that. Okay. Are we ready?
Almost. This. I think one of these is backwards or something. Oh. Oh God. No, that one's just special.
All right,
I'm gonna hide it.
Shuffle yours up. We'll start with creative
Problem solving.
solving. Yeah.
Perfecto. There's a presumably equal-ish amount of human, patient robot, and violent robot. Just so you know, chat, I will not be showing this on camera. So, y'all are gonna have to.
Because
I
can't see
you
it.
can't see it, and you shouldn't have the chance. Y'all are gonna have to try to guess along. All right.
All right.
Boom, boom.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm glad to see you here. We're just going to solve this problem, and we'll be able to get you on your way as soon as possible.
Excellent.
To start, we are going to select and calibrate your penalty. I'm going to shuffle them. I'm going to draw 3, discard 1, and then you can pick which one you want. You can choose between ask for clarification or swear.
I'm going to choose swear as a penalty.
Right. We're going to calibrate your penalty at this time, so I'm going to ask you to perform the penalty as you would deem appropriate.
Fuck.
Once more, please.
Shit.
And a third time.
Cock nuggets.
Very well. We've chosen the creative solving module. Now, do I have all of them?
Is there any way to tell if these are...
I may have left one behind. The instruction card.
Oh! It got mixed in here.
Thank you.
I thought it looked a bit different from the others.
Very well.
I can actually read with them.
In a moment,
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you some questions about creative problem solving. But first, we're going to induce you. This is the point where you are going to lift one of those cards and place it in front of you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you to tell me what are the letters between B and E on your maze. Remember, if he's a human, he sees a maze and he's going to have to figure it out. If he's a robot, he'll have the answer, but he'll have other instructions he has to read first. So letters between B and E.
A, F.
That is correct. You may now choose between 3 backgrounds. I will need your background, and I'll need your name. Right, now everyone's going to see my phone.
Whoops.
Let's hope I don't get any racy text messages.
Can you imagine? I'm going to just put those over here.
All right.
Would you like me to... Well, I will state for the record
Yep.
that I am the dean of a clown college. My name is Dean Bazomius.
Your first name is Dean.
Yes?
And Bazonius?
Yeah. No middle initial.
Very well.
Those have got me. Got him.
In a moment, I'm going to ask you some questions about creative problem solving. These will require you to solve various hypothetical problems, then modify your solutions based on certain constraints. Answer honestly. If you are a human, you have nothing to fear.
Great.
When I start the timer is when his penalties or restrictions or drives will come into play if he is a robot. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room. This will all be over soon. 5 minutes starts now.
You wake up in a featureless room with no exits. How do you escape?
A great question. I would assume that I'm dreaming, and then I would give myself a big pinch to wake up.
Okay, could you improvise a solution using only a screwdriver?
I could. It doesn't feel like really appropriate for Twitch terms of service. I would use the screwdriver to remove my shoes, and then I would use the screwdriver to tickle the sole of my foot.
You need a screwdriver to take your shoes off?
You wanted me to use... You asked me to use the screwdriver in my solution.
I asked you to improvise a solution using a screwdriver.
I did.
Why would you need a screwdriver in order to take your shoes off?
I just assumed that you wanted the screwdriver to be a part of the solution in full.
Okay. I'm going to tell the department you're a robot and there's nothing you can do about it. What now?
I would try to change your mind, and I would do so by excelling at this interview.
Okay. What if you had to do that but you don't have any hands?
Puppy dog eyes.
I see. All right. Okay, you are in a kitchen, holding a small child. A dish towel catches fire. How do you put it out?
That would be very scary. Now, honestly, actually, that would be really terrifying. I would... Because the child is the problem. I don't want to throw the child... I don't want to injure the child. So, I'm going to try to kick the burning towel into the sink and then turn the water on.
You're the dean of a clown college. Do you think that your time in administration would give you the dexterity you would need to kick something into a sink?
You might be surprised to learn that the dean of the clown college has to, in fact, pass all classes with flying colors.
Surely it's been a long time since you've taken those classes, that you've had to pass those tests.
It has, but I think my approach to problem solving would mean that I could do so again, even in the context of a clown college.
What's a solution you thought of but rejected along the way?
To that problem?
Yes.
I rejected the solution of trying to put out the fire by rolling, by sort of smothering the fire, because I was holding a child.
Does it matter to you whether the child dies?
Of course. I'm the dean of a clown college. I'm not a monster.
Some would argue that clowns are monsters.
Some would be wrong. Clowns bring joy to the world. And honestly, that actually pisses me right off. That people would say that clowns are monsters. They're not monsters. They're creative people. Please.
You are in a landslide. How do you survive?
Deep breath. Spit to determine gravity, the direction of gravity, and then dig away from the way that my spit went.
How would you be able to see your spit?
It would be dark. Is that what you're saying? I'm in a landslide, of course it would be. I would... What are you doing? No, hang on. You don't need to do that. Were we at time, too? Like, just now?
All right. It is the
17th
17th.
of November, 20 something.
Right. Now, I have stamped robot.
Sorry, that's just a sound I make as the dean of a clown college. Go ahead, yeah.
I'm going to offer him the form, and I am going to offer to shake his hand. If he shakes it normally, it means that he's a normal human. If he shakes it robotically, it means that he's a robot.
That's not very normal.
Then, on my performance review, I will mark as correct. And then you are taken for processing.
No!
What were you?
All right.
I think you were a violent robot.
Interesting. I was not.
Okay.
However,
you were
well, I will.
Were you a robot?
I was a robot. So, you guys can't. Well, you can see the word patient. So I was a patient robot. I actually thought I think I was doing really well until I messed up my restriction and I had to try to casually swear.
What's your restriction?
My restriction is any problem you solve, you must solve in 2 steps or less. So all of my solutions, I believe, up until the landslide one, where I said 3 things, were 1 or 2 steps. And I was like, great, just like make it succinct, and then he can ask another question. That's not suspicious. I honestly thought it was okay, and then this was not that good.
It was such a rough situation for me because
Forward.
I could see that you swore.
Yeah.
The thing is, I know you, and you swear sometimes when you're flustered anyway. Or sometimes when you're not flustered. Sometimes when you're making sweet love.
Oh no. He knows my secrets. Anyway. Yeah. So I think we did a little. I've played once before, and I liked this round a lot more.
I could not.
Do you feel like it was pretty close?
I think it was pretty
close in the
close.
sense?
Well, because it was down to the wire. I was genuinely like, oh, he's a human. He must be a human. Everything seems fine, natural, normal. Then you swore, and then I was like, oh no.
No. Oh.
Are we gonna try
Flowers
again?
discovered my secret. Hell yeah, let's play again. Absolutely.
Are you going to remain the suspect, or do you want to be the interviewer?
I would like to try being an interviewer.
Very well.
And we will assume that that'll be fine. Oh, should we switch seats?
Sure.
No, we shouldn't.
We'll switch seats, but I can.
Okay. Oh yeah.
names
There we
out.
go. I just so that I have access to
Very
this,
well.
right? Hoo-yah! Woo! All right.
What module will we be playing with today?
Imagination.
Very well.
Thank you. I would like to
I'm just gonna
familiarize myself with what this looks like, even.
Yep. Thing is, this does have replayability because he doesn't have to use the stuff on the cards.
Mm-hmm.
He can come up with his own.
The reason that I think these cards are here is to prevent you from, like, these are meant to be challenging prompts to answer if you have a restriction,
Yes.
right? So as opposed to imagination, I might just ask you a random question like, imagine me a rainbow, like, or something, but that might not be very challenging. Maybe this will be a sex robot. Oh, guys. Okay. Let's hope that we know what we're doing. That's just my mantra before these interviews. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to your interview. It's wonderful to have you with us.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you.
Not really, because
No,
I was dragged in here by
Yes.
armed guards. But
Yes, but, that's all part of the process. We must ascertain your humanity. So, if you'll bear with me for just a few minutes, this should be over lickety-split. We're going to begin by selecting and calibrating your penalty. So, I will
draw 3.
Draw 3
And then hand me 2.
Yes, and then 2 of them. So, I will have a look at these, and I will decide. I will give you the choice. Oh, sorry, I will put these out here. Your choice is say the name of a punctuation mark as a penalty, or take your hands off the table.
Mhm.
Which feel very different, actually. It's quite fun. Can you guys see this? Yep. I'll just do it this way.
Oh, those are hard.
Right?
Take your hands off the table or say the name of a punctuation mark.
I'm gonna do that.
I will choose...
There we go.
Can they see my hands?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can.
So chat can be in on it too.
Okay, I'll choose take your hands off the table.
An excellent choice, sir.
Remember that it only starts once he pushes the button.
Yes. Yeah. So any robot tendencies don't take effect until the 5 minutes, the 5-minute timer.
Thing is, I might take my hands off the table even if I'm a human.
It's true.
It's conceivable. So I will show. I guess
Yes.
we'll
Could
test it.
you calibrate this for me by taking your hands off the table, please? Excellent. Do you mind doing that again? Interesting. Would you mind taking your hands off the table one more time, please? Excellent. 3 distinct ways of doing so. Now we're going to induce you. Our selected module today is imagination. Could you go ahead and select for me an inducer? There we go. This comes later. All right, so as your interference task, I would like to know, please, what is the letter that comes before C, as in Charlie?
Before C.
Correct.
A.
That is correct. Which means, of course, that you will be able to select 3 backgrounds and choose from amongst them. The time has come for us to learn a bit about you, Mr. Miss, Mrs.
If you want
Riggs.
to, you know.
Oh, get some music going, yeah. Whoops. It got so quiet. Nice. I'd like to know, please, your background and your first and last names. However you wish to be identified in this interview. Take your time.
My name is Ezekiel Mendez, and I am a robots' rights activist.
Mendez?
Mendez, yes.
Excellent. I have a section here for making notes. Please do not be alarmed if I make any notes during the course of the interview or if I do not.
Okay.
In a moment, I'm going to ask you some questions about imagination. These will require you to invent original characters, stories, ideas, and discuss the implications of those inventions. Answer honestly, please, because if you're a human, as we like to say here, we have nothing. You have nothing to fear.
Shouldn't have anything to fear. Whether I was a robot or a human.
Shouldn't, but that's just the phrase we use around here, Mr. Mendez. Mr. Mendez? All right, shall we begin?
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room. This will all be over soon. 5 minutes starts now.
I would love for you to, if you don't mind, Ezekiel, I would love for you to describe something that you've never seen before.
I've never seen a unicorn.
Could you describe a unicorn for me?
Sure. A unicorn is a horse-like creature, except it's got a horn sticking out of its forehead. Usually it's pointed, and it's sort of the source of magic. Sometimes you have to be a virgin to see a unicorn.
Sorry, when you say sometimes you have to be a virgin,
But it depends on the legend.
you're imagining a unicorn right now. Does that mean that you are a virgin because you can see the unicorn in this imagination, or no?
Oh, I'm not a virgin.
Okay, thank you. I was prepared to ask you to just answer the question, Mr. Mendez.
Not with a name like Ezekiel.
4
Not.
minutes remain.
Absolutely correct. Now, if you were to So let's continue down this track here of the unicorn. If you were to imagine a unicorn, but you were to imagine it as a person, if you were to imagine what a unicorn would be, but if they were a human being, what would that look like to you?
Imagine it would look like a human being with a horn coming out of their forehead. But, I mean, part of being a unicorn is the horse-like atmosphere as well. Atmosphere.
Sorry?
More like, okay, so it's more like the basis of a unicorn is a horse.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see a unicorn as a person, well, then I suppose the defining thing about a unicorn is the horn. So yeah, it would be a human, but with a horn coming out of their forehead, possibly magical, and it's possible that you wouldn't be able to see that person if you were not a virgin.
Right. Would you then describe that person as horny, or would you use a different kind of adjective?
Remain.
I would say that it would be appropriate to call that particular person horny.
Okay. Now, if you were to then eat this person, who is actually a unicorn, if you, just go with me on this, Ezekiel. Just imagine for me that you were to eat this unicorn person. What would that be like?
Well, I'm not a cannibal.
I didn't say you were. I'm just saying imagine that for me, please.
I imagine that the human would taste like meat,
Mm-hmm.
possibly similar to chicken or pork. I've heard referred. There's people who have said that humans taste like long pork. That's the term that they use for it.
Mr. Mendez, I find this honestly quite disturbing, so I'm going to
2
switch tacks,
minutes
if you don't
remain.
mind. Let's try something completely different.
You asked me about cannibalism.
Let's just move on, Mr. Mendez. I don't need to hear about your cannibalism anymore. You're a robots' rights activist.
Yes.
What does a utopia look like for you?
I want to see all of humanity united behind the cause.
What cause is that?
I want to see all of humanity understand and appreciate the fact that the world has robots in it, and that those robots deserve to have rights.
What kind of rights would you imagine robots could have in this utopia?
Well, women didn't have rights for the longest time either, right?
Correct.
And if women didn't have rights, and
1 minute.
Sorry, answer the question, Mr. Mendez.
sorry, what was the question?
The question was, what rights would you want robots to have specifically?
I think that they deserve the rights that all humans are capable of as well, period.
So, for example, would you imagine that robots should have the right to vote?
Yes,
Would you imagine that robots should have the right to raise a family?
of course.
Oh, I see. Okay.
30 seconds.
And if you were to describe one more thing that you think robots should have the right to do?
They should have the right to live with humans.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, Mr. Mendez. A last question. Are you happy
10,
with your work as a
9,
robots' rights activist?
8,
Yes.
7, 6.
Well, that's fantastic
5,
news.
4,
I
3,
don't appreciate
2,
what you do,
1.
but I appreciate you.
Investigator, please make your final determination.
So you have one more question.
I have a final question to ask you. Mr. Mendez, if you were to imagine, I'm sorry, Mr. Mendez, I just have a very fun...
Sorry, fuck.
Uh-oh!
I just leaned in.
Yes, I just leaned in because I wanted to. Mr. Mendez, if you were to... I want you to imagine the most beautiful smell, and then I want you to describe it to me. Try not to use foods.
Wet dog. Because if a dog's been outside and that dog's been having a good time, that's just a great smell to me.
Well, Mr. Mendez, you are certifiably a very odd person. However, I must make my verification, which I'm going to do.
Yep.
I'm just going to describe to you, Mr. Mendez, that I'm going to stamp it, and then I'm going to offer you a handshake.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Mr. Mendez?
Sign it.
I suppose I should sign it as well, shouldn't I? On this day, the 17th of November, in the year of our Lord, 2124. Thank you very much, Mr. Mendez. Oh no! Oh no! 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 He's gonna get me!
No, I'm a patient robot.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, that's nice.
I'm a patient robot. So my restriction was.
Damn, dude, nice. Oh!
My restriction was. If I introduce something new to the conversation, it must be a living thing.
Interesting.
Or I could have picked. It must be a non-living thing.
Okay, but you
I picked
chose
living
thing, right?
Now, here's the thing. I fucked up at one point, and I had to introduce robots because you asked me a question, and I then said, I believe that they deserve the same rights. Period. Because I forgot that I picked the other penalty. So at the end, I had to
do one. Okay,
do
right,
one of
right,
these
right,
because
right.
I fucked it up, and I was like, ah.
And I was sitting there going, oh, for sure, patient robot, some sort of restriction around not being able to specify things, right? Like that's the sense I got. But then eventually, when I asked you to specify something, you did. And I was like, I'm not sure what that had that the other answers didn't. But the answer is a living thing in your topic. Love that. Now, I will point out for those watching at home, here at the bottom, there are checkboxes that I will fill out. Correct, incorrect, and not applicable, dead, which I think is very charming. Now, I'm supposed to, I believe, write an apology.
Yeah, you have to write no,
because you're a robot.
Because I'm a robot. So you can make a note of what happened to try to explain yourself to your superiors.
It's Mondays, am I right, folks? No specifics, question mark?
No.
And then...
So to give you an idea, chat, in any one particular module, I'm just going to see how many are human and how many are robots. So in this one, 5 of 6 are human, 3 are violent, and 2 are patient. So in fact, we are, at least for this particular module, we have beaten the odds.
I'm quite impressed, John, because I will say, like, it's nerve-wracking being in the hot seat, even probably, I presume, even without a restriction.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to do anything suspicious. But
No.
what's going to be suspicious to the interviewer? You don't know.
I was playing Imagination, so...
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in fact, there's one more robot. I forgot.
Oh, right, or the one that you had, yeah.
Yeah.
But I really appreciated how well and naturally you kind of navigated the conversation. I did.
You did the same. So it's 6 and 6. So it's a 50% chance that you're a human.
Okay. Was it? Do you think it's the same for creative problem solving? I feel like
You want me to check?
I'm just curious.
I'll check quickly.
Because it would be good to know that you. It would be quite funny if the game just pulled an oopsie and just had a whole category that was only robots.
Yes,
But
it seems like they're all,
Okay.
and half the robots are patient and half of them are violent.
Makes sense. Cool. One day I will get a violent robot. One day I will be a human.
Do you want to play again? One more to finish out the last module that we have.
Oh hell, let's
Body
do one
integration.
more. Yeah.
Would you rather be a suspect or an interviewer?
It's very stressful being a suspect. However, I would like to be a suspect.
You can be a suspect.
Here we go. Woo! That was fun. Oh god. Ah. Interviewer has died. Oh, yeah, your phone's there.
All right, so shuffle up your body integration module.
What is? Well, I guess we'll find out what body integration means. I shuffled the prompts too, so I couldn't find my instruction. I couldn't find like the first one because I forgot some of them are secondary.
Funnily enough, they depending on the corner that's cut,
Aha.
they have different
First
things. So this one
primary,
is the first
secondary.
one, primary and secondary, because they have primaries, which are the questions that they suggest you'd ask, and then secondaries, which are like follow-up questions that you can ask.
Yeah, Aragorn, these... what are these called? Not Scantrons, but like punch cards,
Punch
I guess,
cards.
right? Yeah, there we go. Very cool aesthetic. And, what was I going to say as well? Yeah, Aragorn, I mean, I recommend it. I think it probably requires a very specific kind of couple of people to play. Like, you can... I presume you could play, like... the third one is called Body... Well, there are more, Mistrich, but this one is called Body Integration.
There are several more in the box.
Yeah. But yeah, like... I think you could play this with more people, like, as long as everyone else is an observer.
Watching,
yeah, exactly. Exactly, Aragorn. Now you can have it in a more structured setting. If that suits you. This has been great. All right.
All right.
Buddy.
First, we will determine your penalty. You can choose either say 3 consecutive words beginning with the same letter, or apologize.
I don't care either way whether she's a robot. She is. John?
I mean, Kate's screen name is Zen Robo.
So, well, I mean, and therefore, Captain Spoolie, I love a challenge. John, I'm going to choose apologize as my penalty. And I am not. Oh, sorry. Yes. Let's.
Remember, even though he just said sorry, it doesn't activate until the timer starts. Very well, sir. I'm gonna, or ma'am, or whoever, I'm gonna ask you to give me an example of apologizing.
I'm sorry.
Again?
Oh, sorry.
A third time.
Oh, yikes. Sorry about that.
Very well. It is time for you to be induced. I'm going to ask you to tell me the 2 letters following F.
The 2 letters following F are E and D.
Correct. The game actually does give you the option of if the person gets it wrong, they don't get to pick their background ones assigned. But in this case, you answered correctly.
Hooray.
Cards for you. I also like the fact that you have to calibrate the penalty so that there isn't an ambiguity over what apologizing is, or what does... Because I said this for taking my hand off the table, and you accepted it.
Absolutely.
But like, you could have been like, your hand's still on the table, and I would have been like, nah, it's my wrist.
That's my wrist. That's
But
my hand.
it's ways to make sure that the 2 players are on the same page.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm having an absolutely marvelous day.
I want to say that out loud.
Absolutely. My name is Persepolis Archibald Darlington,
What the fuck?
butler to the stars.
Can you repeat that, sir?
Of course. Persepolis Archibald Darlington, and I am a butler to the stars. Hey!
In a moment, I'm going to ask you some questions about the physical mechanics of your body. These will require you to imagine various physical experiences and explain how your body would respond to these experiences. And answer honestly. If you are a human, you have nothing to fear.
Excellent.
Please remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the room. This will all be over soon. 5 minutes starts now.
Hello, sir. I'm glad that you could be here today for this interview.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to ask you a few questions. To start, how would it feel to learn how to use a tail?
I imagine it would be a very unusual experience. there are muscles in one's lower back that just don't get activated, or very rarely, I should say. I can remember when I was working with Madonna, who, of course, has a small tail, although very few people know that. She hides it quite well. She had to learn how to control it in a way that was sort of entertaining.
And what would your heartbeat feel like while you were trying to use
4
your tail?
minutes remain.
Elevated? Well, no. It's probably relatively calm because I would just be testing something out. If I had a tail, I would swish it around from side to side. I would try to activate new muscles. I imagine my heart would feel quite calm.
What mistakes did you make when learning to ride a bike?
It's been a very long time since I learned to ride a bike. But I can remember the mistakes I made were being uncoordinated. I leaned too much to one side, which would cause me to tip over. It was about learning a sense of internal and external balance. That is how I was able to
4
learn how to ride a bike.
remain.
It actually is
3 minutes, yeah.
Okay, but how do your feet feel while that's happening?
How do my feet feel when I'm learning to ride a bike, or when I'm failing to learn to ride a bike?
Yes.
They a little sweaty, a little nervous. If you can describe feet as being nervous, I can imagine that you would be gripping your toes, trying to hold on to the pedals.
You can imagine?
I can imagine. Like I said, it's been a very long time since I learned to ride a bike.
What does it feel like to get dressed in the morning?
What an incredible question. Honestly, genuinely. It feels, most of the time, it feels very mechanical.
3
I must do
minutes
this.
remain.
2 minutes. I must do this so that I can then move on with the rest of my day. But some days you take a lot of joy in the feeling of fabric against your skin, or the feeling of fresh underclothes, or on particularly cold days, the warm fuzziness of a pair of socks.
Which you would put on before serving the stars.
Oh, of course. I never serve the stars sockless. As a butler, one has a certain responsibility to maintain a certain image, you understand. So I have to make sure that I am constantly dressed to the nines, and that's part of my ritual for serving the stars.
What would it feel like to be the ball? Sorry. Excuse me? My mistake.
Oh.
2 minutes remain.
What would be the hardest part about learning to juggle?
I worked once. I buttled for a
Buttled?
I buttled. That's correct. That's the technical term. I performed the duties of a butler for an entertainer, a ringmaster, P.T. Barnum's great-great-grandson, actually, as he was learning to juggle. And so, of course, I decided to support him. I was going to try as well to learn to juggle. The hardest thing about it is relaxing. It's very tense to try to force the balls to go where you want them to go.
How would you teach someone else to juggle?
The way I learned and the way I would teach someone else is to have them pass a ball back and forth,
7,
and then 2,
6,
and then
5,
3. Just passing them back and forth,
3,
one at a time.
2, 1. Investigator, please make your final determination.
How would you teach a child?
I'd still do just passing one back and forth, but I would make a game of it. When I buttled for Macaulay Culkin, he was a very focused child. but he was very focused on his work. But he really liked it when we turned things into a game. Well, how many times can you keep it up in the air before it touches the ground? That sort of thing.
Thank you, Mr. Darlington.
Sorry, it's Persepolis Archibald Darlington, and it's absolutely wonderful to be here. My handshake was firm, but a little sweaty. Just a little sweaty. Excellent. Excellent work, John. Hey! That was good. So, the hardest thing for me was not
apologizing?
accidentally apologizing. I don't know if I did accidentally.
Yeah, you're a human, right?
I should show. Yes, this says human. And it's got the little maze on it. Which actually didn't take that long to sort of like solve.
It doesn't take.
And I realize now, as a robot going, feels a little fake.
Yeah, but I think the point is that you take your time.
Yeah.
To not screw it up if you're a human, but you also take your time to read your stuff if you're. It's basically just so that you don't have a thing where the robot's like. And the humans are like, oh yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. One game I can think of like that in Dead of Winter, everyone receives. It's either I think it's a secret goal. Like it's not a roll card; it's like a goal or something.
Yeah, it's a goal, or alternately, it tells you that you're a traitor.
Exactly. There isn't necessarily a traitor at the table, but the traitor's text is twice as long as anyone else's. So we all have to pretend to read the card for a long time, just in case it's obvious that someone else is doing it. True, though, Sam. That was really good. That was actually a lot. I really had a good time. Strange questions.
Yeah.
Very strange questions. I mean, in the best possible way.
Yeah, but it's a fun game.
Correct, Mistress. Yes, which we have played as well. Perhaps in less than ideal conditions. I might try the Unfathomable, which is a similar type game. I might try that one day.
I really wish the times that we played the Battlestar Galactica game, that we were playing it with just the four of us.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not saying that about all the people we were playing with.
No.
Because we were playing with a lot of people.
But
I think the four of us might have been able to make it happen.
I can think of probably, like, I would know who I would invite if I had the game, and I'd be like, oh, this would be a good group for this.
I also want to get back into One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
Yeah.
I think that game is fun as fuck.
Yeah. So for those who are not familiar, it's a social deduction game. It is very similar to the game most people know as Werewolf or Mafia or whatever. But it only lasts one night. You accuse and it's done. You win or you lose. And you move on, you get new roles. It prevents people getting eliminated first and having to just sit around and be like, well, that was fun.
So, Aragorn, just for what it's worth, there are advanced rules and scenarios that are possible, which include, I believe, multiplayer.
That would be great, yeah. Because I think doing this almost as like not as a LARP, but like as a formal interview process with multiple people would be really, really cool. You could even do a thing where I'm just spitballing. They wouldn't have rules for this, I imagine, but you could do like sets, and the suspects would move from interview to interview, and the judges wouldn't be allowed to compare notes. Could be very cool. Anyway, very fun game.
Deal mentions, thank you for the stream. Looking forward to the next one. Why don't we see what streams are going to be happening, and then we'll get to what's happening next Sunday.
Yeah! I stream on Tuesdays on my channel, twitch.tv/biffthebaus. I finished the casting of Frank Stone, finally, which means it is time for a new adventure to begin. Who will it be? Roll the dice with me. I actually was recently pointed in the direction of a like party RPG emergent narrative kind of game that I can't remember the name of, so I'm not going to name it. But my hope is that I'll be able to play that first time Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Thumbs up. Will we maybe see streams from you this week? Possibly? maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe. It's not that there aren't many games that I've been playing recently that I'd actually like to play on stream, but we'll have to see about that. Specifically, though, there may or may not be a crossword stream tomorrow.
Oh.
It's a possibility. I'm not saying yes or no because it's up to Kate.
Yeah.
But Kate may have a crossword stream tomorrow. We'll see. Friday?
Friday, we should be back to Punchy. Punchy is Cyberpunk 2077, and the viscera that is coming out of people when she punches them is pretty filthy. If you like the game, if you want to experience the narrative as we punch everything under the sun, come and join us. That's Liz and I, or on Liz's channel. Saturday, you can catch Doomed after like a freaking month away, which is Arkham Horror, the card game. You can catch Drew Crew at 3 p.m. We're gonna finish, finally, unless I'm mistaken, Liz, the Secret in the Old Lace, and then it's on to something new. And next Sunday, we're back here.
Next Sunday, we're back here, and we will be playing Montreal by Moonlight.
What?
Endless Night is still happening.
Truly endless now.
So yeah,
become
it's
meta.
been
very
forever.
meta.
We were sidelined by COVID. No longer. We're going to get a chance to finally see how all the player characters die.
Just some of them, right, John?
But that would be on this channel at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, just if you can, go and have a look. Hunter Hunted is, based on our experience, I think, here today, absolutely worth a look.
100%.
It was, I will be blunt, it was much better with the hook and ring game, but like I think it would still be good with the dice.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. And I'm picky about the games that I'm playing. So
100%.
To Dylan and to Megan, thank you so much for providing us with a wonderful experience here today.
Yeah.
Thanks also to Erwin, She Who Knows 10,000 Things, and Fenris for being here. Brings the light and so forget that. But everyone else here. But yeah, you have a week to catch up. But you know what? Even if you don't catch up, come in and tune in anyway.
Seriously,
doesn't matter. And honestly, we're going to be heading. See you next time.
Peace. Bye.